Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. Yeah, a little different than our hot wax short takes. Today we're celebrating Woodstock. I mean, it's the 55th anniversary of that great festival. 55 years ago yesterday, Max Yasgur's farm, Bethel, New York, history was made. It was one of the biggest festivals of our time at that time. Some of the greatest acts, some new acts. Joe Cocker was just getting started. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young were just doing their first gig. A special time. If you want to go back and review that, our very first episode of Waxing On was about Woodstock, episode 1. And it talked about the original Woodstock album and the music and the performers. So go back and give that a look. Actually, it's back hosted by a very younger version of me. I can't believe I've been doing this series long enough to get old on camera, but what are you going to do, eh? It was a special time, 1969, things were changing. It was a whole different world out there, and this 3-day event, the Woodstock Music and Arts Fair, was just what the people needed. Now, 25 years later, they released another version of a soundtrack. Episode 1 covers the soundtrack of the original movie. There was a second album came out, which I wasn't able to get my hands on, that kind of followed that one up. Then 25 years later, we've got this one called Woodstock, 3 Days of Peace and Music. 25th anniversary. A 4 CD set. Just show you, it's a box set, this one, so I mean, this, you know, there's going to be some good stuff here. We got 4 CDs in here, and we've got a huge booklet that came with it. I'll try and give you a look at it, commemorating the events, facts about Woodstock, some photos of the bands that were there, a little background on what was going on. Joe Cocker in there, we see pictures of the band, and Roger Daltrey, Mountain, what was going on in 1969. Just a great keepsake to go along with it. The original album didn't have a lot, had 3 albums, but it didn't have any kind of packaging with it on there. Now this one, significance of this album, yes, there's a lot of songs that have already been released on the previous soundtrack albums, but there's a lot of unreleased material to look at. And that's what I want to focus on here when we're 55 years, I mean, over half a century ago that this took place, and it still has a big impact. Let's take a look here. We've got a previously unreleased version of Handsome Johnny by Richie Havens. Country Joe and the Fish, well, they're doing their usual fish cheer and Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die rag, so that one we've had before. John Sebastian, Rainbow All Over Your Blues, and I Had a Dream. Both of those were released before. But we got Tim Hardin in here doing If I Were a Carpenter, previous unreleased version from Woodstock. Melanie with Beautiful People, which did not appear on the original Woodstock album. Arla Guthrie doing Coming into Los Angeles. It was on Woodstock, but something called Walking Down the Line by Bob Dylan that was previously unreleased. So we got some nice new fresh material on here that we haven't seen somewhere else. Let's take Joan Baez. Well, she's done Sir Galahad, Joe Hill, and Drugstore Truck Driving Man. Some of those did appear on the original Woodstock. Mountain. We've got Blood of the Sun and Theme for the Imaginary Western. Canned Heat. Oh, they did Going Up the Country on the original. We've got Leaving This Town was previously unreleased. Creedence Clearwater Revival did not appear on the original Woodstock. We've got 4 tunes by them, yes. Commotion, Green River, 99 and a Half Won't Do, and I Put a Spell on You, all previously unreleased. Janis Joplin didn't appear on the first one either. Now, some of these people, Joplin we talked about before, she did a special Woodstock album, or they released a Woodstock album just to her set. But in a compilation, no, not there. Try, Work Me Lord, and Ball and Chain, all previously unreleased. We got Sly Stone doing Dance to the Music. Want to Take You Higher. We've got The Who with I'm Not Gonna Take It. great classic tune here. Jefferson Airplane, we've got a couple of 3 unreleased versions here. Someday Love, Uncle Sam Blues, and White Rabbit. Joe Cocker, an unreleased version of Let's Go Get Stoned. Let me see what else here. 10 Years After, well, we did that when I'm Going Home. The Band appears on here. Now, if you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about a band probably on my short when I was doing the Watson Glenn album I was listening to. And there wasn't a lot of recorded versions of the band live. Watkins Glen was one of the significant ones. But here on this disc, we have 3 tunes that were unreleased by the band, performed at Woodstock. Long Black Veil, Loving You Is Sweeter Than Ever, and The Weight, classic Robertson tune there. Johnny Winters doing Mean Town Blues. We've got Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young doing a lot of the material that showed up on the album, although I don't remember 4+20 or Sea of Madness or Guinevere, Marrakesh Express. We got Find the Cost of Freedom, that was unreleased. We got Paul Butterfield here. I've got Sha Na Na. Jimi Hendrix doing an unreleased version of Voodoo Child, Steppin' Stone. We've got the Star Spangled Banner and Purple Haze that did appear on the other one. A great album of unreleased material and revisiting some of those classic tunes that appeared on the original soundtracks. A great way to commemorate the event, celebrate the artists that performed at Woodstock. Certainly everybody from Woodstock is, online. If you go to the individual artist, you can dig up their stuff. If you go back, you can get some of these Woodstock compilations. Certainly it's well worth checking out. It's a great weekend to celebrate. It's music that kind of changed the world back in 1969. And a few of these guys are still out there kicking. I know Graham Nash is doing a gig here in October in Ottawa. I mean, he's still out there going. And it's amazing that these guys are still continuing to contribute. So support them, check them out, listen to their music, celebrate the events, celebrate the spirit of Woodstock this weekend. That's it for today. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Till then, take care, stay safe. See you Monday.